I think that's a great idea. I think that one of the things that just to set the tone is, and I've shared this with my mentees, but for those out there that have not heard me say this, you were the guy really that helped me realize a for sale by owner is not a cold call. You know, a
Exactly.
lot of people call them cold calls, but they're really not because they've already raised their hand to say, I want to sell my house, right? And
Exactly.
so I'll let you roll into what you got there with that because your mindset and the method. Really, I'm looking forward to hearing more about.
Great. Great. Thank you. Yeah. Those, I call them the big three: withdrawals, expireds, for sale by owners, are, in my humble opinion, warm calls because they've already recently made an attempt to sell. So something derailed it or disconnected their last attempt. And, we talked for a minute this morning. I'll throw this out there before I get into my examples here, but the hottest leads going right now, I can tell you the gold of the gold leads are, let's say 90, or even scale it back to 30, say 30 to 180-day old expireds, withdrawals, and for sale by owners. Because your first couple of weeks, there's 100 agents chasing them every day. So after a month goes by, they're answering their phone again. Most agents have kind of given up on them. The first few days, it's just a tsunami. It's impossible for an agent to get through. Now, when I get into expireds, I'm going to explain, how I navigate through those voicemails. There's a science to that. So if that makes sense, I mean, I think I mentioned this morning, I think I got 5 listings in the last 6 weeks, and they're all of these. They're for sale by owners and expireds that were from the fall. So now they're, whether it was COVID or, a bad inspection report or a buyer lost financing, now they're ready to try again because the market's even hotter and tighter here in Charlotte. I mean, we have nothing for sale here. I mean, there is zero inventory. So they're trying again. So I got 5 of them. I call them and they're answering their phone. They're open to suggestions and, away we go. And most agents have given up on them by now, if that makes sense.
That makes great sense, John. Well, and getting 5 in the last 6 weeks, I just wanted to repeat that in case the gang didn't hear that because that is strong. I mean, that's a great month.
Yeah, that's like 10 or 12 in a normal market. I mean, because they're so hard to get right now. It's that hard just to get an appointment, with any degree of seriousness. I mean, it's that what I call extreme around here right now. And you guys see it there as well. So here's the way I look at for sale by owners, if I may. So wherever you get leads from, like my number one primary is Land Voice. I mean, there's RedX, there's Vulcan 7, there's all these sources that can get you leads, and most of them are pretty affordable. The way I look at for sale by owners is I tend to approach it differently than most. The minute an agent gets a stack of leads, let's say on a Monday morning, and here comes a stack of new for sale by owners or withdrawals, they can't wait to call them. And when they call them, if they can make contact, they immediately want to try to talk them out of listing. And, oh no, it'll never work. You got to list. You got to list with me. That's it. No way. And they just kind of keep pushing. Well, if you give that some thought, let's focus on for sale by owners here for a moment. They've probably just spent some money on some ads, a couple local newspapers, a for sale by owner website, whatever. They got some signs around town. And they're determined initially that they're going to sell it themselves. They don't need us. They're sick of 50 phone calls already. So they're determined they're going to sell it themselves. So what I do is I call them, and I'm going to show you when we get a little further here how I actually get through on the phone, which is kind of a science to itself. I introduce myself. I tell them who I am. This is John D. Smith, eXp Realty. I wanted to introduce myself from the standpoint I've had a lot of success assisting for sale by owner homeowners just like you in recent years. And in case you get to a point, I may even start off by saying, if it's a brand new lead, are you still attempting, sir, to sell for sale by owner? And if they say yes, I'll say, you know what, that's great. Now they're expecting me to try to talk them out of going for sale by owner and list immediately, right? So I tend to befriend them, and I'll kind of go the other way and say, well, you know what, that's great. And I've had success. assisting for sale by owners like yourself. And what I tell every one of you for sale by owner homeowners is that if you can sell it yourself, terrific. And if you can dodge the commission, terrific. Now, most can't for a lot of reasons. I put that right out there. And if you, and I'll repeat and I'll go, if you can save the 6%, I always say 6%. Okay. So you're laying your own groundwork. Okay. Then more power to you. So I just simply introduce myself and I'll say, have you had any offers yet? Are you getting much traffic? We get through the exchange of initial pleasantries and I'll say, let's say it's Tom. I'll say, hey, Tom, would you mind terribly if I checked in with you a little ways down the road? Say it just like that, a little ways down the road, just to see how it's working out for you. And 90% of them say, sure, John, call back anytime. So let's say that's a Monday. You guys tracking with me? The very next Monday, I'm going to call Tom back. Hey, Tom, this is John D. Smith calling you back from EXP. We spoke a week ago. Just curious if you've had any offers or how it's going for you so far for sale by owner. And normally I'll get something like, well, we had a couple of showings, John, but I don't think either one were qualified. Really nothing to write home about. All right, well, no worries, Tom. Maybe you'll have luck this coming week. So that's 2 phone calls back-to-back Mondays, okay? I'm going to call them, within a day or so. I'm going to call them the next Monday. So that's 3 Mondays, which is 2 full weeks, and this will be my 3rd call. So I'll call Tom back and say, hey, Tom, John D. Smith calling you back. Any luck? No, John. I've just had a couple of calls, kind of wasted time, no luck whatsoever. I'm getting kind of frustrated. So here's what I do. I'll say, hey, Tom, listen, it sounds like you really want to sell. And I may ask him where he's heading, from Charlotte here after he sells his house. Some know, some don't know right now. Now say, if you wouldn't mind, I'm not far away from you, Tom. Would you mind terribly if I stopped over for 15 or 20 minutes, maybe in the next few days, if you have time? I would just like to show you how I professionally market a home and how I've been able to assist many, many for sale by owner homeowners just like yourself. In case you get to that point, Tom, where you need to seriously consider listing with an agent. And at that point, at least you'll know what I have in my arsenal. And then the rest is up to you. You see how I set that up? So at this point, he's frustrated. He's tried 2 weeks. He thought he was going to sell it in 2 days. No takers. Okay. So you see how I kind of set up the appointment. So now, okay, this guy says he's an expert with for sale by owners. He sold many of them. He keeps calling me back. He's easy guy to talk to. All right. Now at this point, he's curious to see what I have to offer as to how I do it. Okay. So when I get there, sometimes this actually starts by phone, but let's say I just got the appointment and I'm going to be there in person. I'll say, Tom, after a quick look at the house, quick walk around the house, which we all typically do to get a feel for what he has. I say, Tom, listen, thanks for letting me come over. And I just wanted to let you know, you got a great home here. I'm kind of surprised it hasn't sold yet, but I think there's reasons why that may be. And, oh, why is that, John? Then you're right into the role play, right off the bat. I'll say, number one, Tom, and you guys want to write this stuff down. Now, here comes the real nuggets, okay? Most buyers, Tom, want representation on both sides nowadays. So give that some thought. But most buyers want representation on both sides nowadays. There is a lot of moving parts to selling a home. Now, here's what's actually may be happening, Tom, as we speak. You may have your dream buyers driving up and down the street every day the last 2 weeks, and they see your sign and they look at your house and they say, man, that house could be perfect for my family. But the minute they see for sale by owner, they're terrified to approach you because number one, they don't know what questions to ask, especially if it's a younger buyer. Number two, and more importantly, they don't know if you know what the answers are. So they're going to hit the pause button and say, I'm going to wait for a listed property. At least I can get some accurate information from a professional realtor, assumably. So that's number one. Number two, Tom, here's the main reason. You are missing out as a for sale by owner homeowner on a tidal wave of technology designed to do none other than drive qualified and serious buyers right into your driveway. So here, you see what I just said? you're missing out, and say it just like that because
I
it hit
love it.
sledgehammer. Tom, you're missing out on a tidal wave of technology designed to drive buyers right into your driveway. Only right now, they don't even know you're there. And that kind of freezes them. That kind of, I've caught them off guard twice now. You see how I'm doing that? Say, Tom, listen, you got a great home here. You just let me walk through it. Nice yard. You back up to a ball diamond. You're close to the mall, easy access to 485, whatever it is. This is why you're struggling as a for sale by owner. Okay. Now, I'm going to give you a couple of statistics here that kind of further these earlier points. But when you start off with those, they're really good, what I call like attention getters to initiate a conversation. So buyers want representation on both sides nowadays, lots of moving parts. Number two, you're missing out on a tidal wave of technology designed to bring buyers right into your driveway. At that point, I may say something like, Tom, just so you know, the best buyers aren't even aware of for sale by owners because they're getting it off phone apps, internet apps, search engines, MLS, specialty sites. They don't even know you exist. So the world is passing you by as they see you're for sale by owner. I mean, every now and then somebody lucks out and snags a buyer, but most can't, as I originally mentioned. Okay. Now, here's a couple of statistics. NAR states, National Association of Realtor, the average fully listed property gets 8 to 10% higher gross sales price than the average for sale by owner. And we only want 6. See, I just got your 6% right there. See how I did that?
Right.
Okay.
Exactly.
So now, anybody know who Kevin Ward is? The Power of Yes. Anybody heard of him?
I've heard of him. Don't know that
Yeah,
I've
he's
read
one
it.
of the best coaches. He's got a book out, The Power of Yes by Kevin Ward. He came up with something about a year ago that just made the hair on the back of my neck stand up. It was so powerful when you're talking to a sale by owner. So check this out. I've since added it to my kind of arsenal of dialogue here.